So my name is Oksana Fedorova, and I'm a project consultant at Бизнес-инкубатор Ингрия. And I'm pleased to welcome you on the event Success Fail Story. This event is held within the framework of international project in campus. The main goal of the project is to gather students and businessmen on one side and to share best practices, experience, to develop internship within student communities. And for that, many activities are being held, including this event, as well as, for example, international laboratories are being developed and implemented in Russia and Finland, for example, in University ITMO and XAMK. Today, we have invited three amazing speakers to share their business experiences, both good and bad. I thank you for participation. And I invite the first speaker, Alex Farseev, the CEO of Somin AI. And dear speakers, I remind you that you have about 20 minutes for your story and 10 minutes for questions from the audience. We have to follow the timeline and of the event, and we will be running. Sorry, there are some issues. I ask you to turn off your microphone. So, Alex, floor is yours. You're welcome to start your story.
Folks, yeah, let me set up 20 minutes just to make sure that I don't overshoot, because it's always exciting to talk about success, but it's much more interesting to even talk about failures. And the fact that the company still exists and we had lots of failures is a success itself. So that's why I call my presentation as Startup Fail Story by Somin.ai. So I'm Alex. I co-founded this company in 2017. It's called Somin.ai. It stands for social miners. And in a nutshell, the company use big data and AI to crack the data from social media and search engines and run digital advertisement campaigns way more efficient than a human could do. And this is all based on my PhD. So actually, I was a researcher in the past. And because I was a researcher and programmer in the past, I've got so many mistakes I'm going to share with you today. But I think I'd share probably about the business first. So we've gone in a couple of places. We have been in 500 startups. We won a global 100 tech startups award in Asia Pacific, where are we actually from? We are from Singapore. And we even got Gartner Cool Vendor. This is an award that is only given to 3 companies globally per year in AI for marketing category. We're one of these 3 companies. Before, Zoom received this award in their Series D, and we have received this award in only Series A, so much earlier stage. We're really proud of that. So that kind of shows that our company is not bad, and it kind of worth listening what kind of problems we have overcome during the last few years. And I'm going to share with you what were the key learnings from there. The company is trying to solve the problem of digital advertisement fatigue and failure. So we're gonna get cost per result higher, we get much lesser conversions, agencies losing jobs, brands losing clients because and money because they cannot do anything, they don't advertise efficiently. And we come up with a product that is using AI and so-called long tail targeting that actually helping you to improve the quality of the digital advertisements. And basically what it does, it helps you to find those hidden interests that don't come into your mind straightforwardly. So that's, let's say, if you sell Huawei and you sell mobile phones, our platform would recommend, you probably want to sell these phones by targeting bikini and beachwear, because people right now really want to go travel, they have a budget, they need new camera, and they're going to buy your Huawei phone much better as compared to target them traditionally through smartphone or laptop targeting in digital advertisement. By the way, it's a real case. This is how Huawei improves their ROAS by 30%. Our company also can generate content and also can run digital advertisement campaigns. So it closes the loop and it makes the whole digital advertising process automated via AI as compared to what you've been doing human-driven campaigns, being an agency or maybe being a in-house marketing team of a brand. We are in 20 markets. We came from Singapore. We do have Russia presence. Actually, I think we also have clients in Finland as well. So we are in your country and we are also in Russia. So we are a little bit more relevant to you as well. And we get a couple of really big guys under our belt, including McDonald's, Papa John's. The way it works in the 3 steps. First step, we collect this data from public data sources. Then we use AI and machine learning. We use NLP also to break it down into these actionable insights, pretty much 14,000 of categories that later can be pushed into Facebook, into Google, into TikTok, into Twitter to target and advertise and run campaigns. And our platform checks this every 30 minutes to make sure that the right people receive the right content in the right moment and through the right targeting and bidding strategy on programmatic, which is happening in the third step. That helped Huawei to improve their results by 30%. That helped Citibank to increase number of leads 2 times. And actually, we have 90% success rate, 91% success rate, and on average we save about 30% of the budget. So if your brand's spending like $1 million by using our technology, they can save 300K every month. And that's just amazing, right? That's why everybody wants us. That's why we can grow so fast. Last year we grow like 5.3 times. This year 3 times. Next year we're gonna go USA and we're gonna grow another X4 based on our projections. We also create some cool technology, like we can generate content. We were first partners in Russian market. We use OpenAI GPT-3 to generate digital marketing content. So if this kind of content can be written by humans, we can actually generate thousands of content copies automatically, better than human. I'm sure if you read one of those examples, you can hardly distinguish which ones are actually written by humans and which one are written by artificial neural network. This is all our technology. And this is all very cool, but let us go to a couple of lessons that we have learned. And we learned it really hard way. I learned it as a founder. So I'm going to just give you a couple of stories that we passed through. And if you're considering to do your startup, you better keep these things in mind, simply because I didn't, and I so regret I didn't. So lesson number 1, shall you raise funds first and then sell your product or whatever you're doing? And I did it. And this is really bad idea. Why so? I have just graduated from National University of Singapore as a PhD student. I was following my professor for multiple business meetings, and I've seen lots of very nice industry gaps. I even get a group of interns to actually create a couple of prototypes that were efficiently solving the problem of digital ad optimization, bridging the gap between the analytics and digital marketing, detecting some events so that social media managers can reflect those events and respond to those events fast enough so that the business can be doing well. So I was looking for raising some funds to run the company. And first problem, it's not a mistake, but just a problem that could always happen with you, is that I secured some funding from my university, but then the last moment they told me that, you get a conflict of interest with other startups, so we're not going to give you money. So I had a pregnant wife, 2 months of my visa left, and no money to do the idea, and no job, because I was not looking for the job, because I was planning to do a startup for the last half a year, and actually no opportunity to find a job, just because to make a visa for me, I would need to spend 3-4 months just to secure a visa somewhere in Singapore. So for me it was quite stressful. I cannot sleep some nights, and I was very lucky to raise funds early. And I came to a group of angel investors who, I mean, just for your information, angels, they are not VCs, they are not professionals, right? In venture, for them, it's more like a fund. For them, it's more like to be a part of your journey rather than to really get some good multiple exit from your company nicely or something like that. So I raised the funds from a couple of angels, and I raised them at quite a minimum valuation. Valuation was small because I actually had a product, I had a team, but I didn't have any sales. And that makes any VC, any angel, or anybody who's going to give you any money, put you in a pre-seed stage. And pre-seed stage basically means that there's no way for you to calculate the multiple of your revenues because you have revenues and you didn't find a product market fit. You just have a technology, but you don't have the product, because even if you feel you have the product, you kind of cannot really define your valuation because you have no revenues to multiply it to something and get your actual valuation. So your valuation will be always low. In Asia, it will be maybe 1 to 2 million. In Russia, that could be even less than that, right? In Finland, in Europe, it could be some intermediate money. In maybe Israel or USA, you could get actually really good valuation even before you do any sales. But we are not there. And another thing is that there are a lot of success stories, but a lot of fail stories who fail to raise any funds, even being in Silicon Valley. So we always need to consider that. Though I raised the money before first sales, and I give up quite a big chunk of my company to this angel group. They were very supportive. They helped me a lot in a company, and this is a positive side of the thing. But now, with all the experience that I have, I understand that if you raise funds before you get your first sales, you are kind of giving up a part of your company at a valuation that could be maybe 5 times smaller or 3 times smaller at least, as compared to, you go get a couple of letters of intent from clients, from real clients, who could raise your valuation of your company very much, because you kind of already would have a product market fit. So don't raise before you do the first sell. And if you look in the industry, there is a couple of accelerators or like early stage venture builders. Let's say entrepreneur first. Not advocating, right? I don't have any financial interest in them, but I like their model. So they build a very good pitch. They don't ask you to build too much software. They just ask you to partner with your co-founder, have a very good project, and really learn how to pitch it in such a way that by the end of the acceleration program, you actually can have 1 or 2 or 3 letters of intent. And once you have these letters of intent, your valuation become not 1 million or 1.5 million, but maybe 5 million, maybe 10 million, which is way, way more interesting for you as a founder, because you will be diluted much less in the early stage. So later, when you go to your series A, B, C, D, series C, your pre-A round, investors will not see the situation where founders actually don't have too little shares. In our case, till our Series A stage, we managed to have a couple of very good rounds with good valuations, and now we are fine. Now we have a very healthy capitalization table. But we are lucky, and in many cases, early investments and giving up a lot of shares and dilution in a very early stage without actual sales, or because you don't have sales, might actually kill your company or significantly hurt you when you are raising next rounds. So what is the second lesson? The second lesson was about build first and then sell. And you notice that all my lessons actually will be about something then sell. So by indirectly, I'm trying to tell you, doing a startup is not about tech pretty much. It's not really about how smart you are and everything. All these things are important, But if you don't sell what you build, nobody gonna care. In your university, you are very good in passing your exams, receiving the marks, maybe writing your PhD is like what I thought and what I did. But in business, everybody cares traction, because when they put money into your company later, they want to get return. And if you as a founder not able to generate this traction, you're going to be valued much, much, much smaller as compared to the situation when you have it. And another problem, like top 3 problems of founders do, they, especially technical founders like I am, and I did this mistake, you build something first and then sell. So once you raise funds, we got a team and we start spending money and this team efforts on building a product. This product was based on experience of very, very, very smart marketer who have previously managed an agency of 300 people. And those agency was bought over by WPP Group. And by all means, this is the best advisor you could ever get. And this advisor suggested us to do dashboards for strategic insights to help brands to basically figure out, okay, what kind of information the brand might need in order to do a very good job in their marketing. And we built this dashboard because we had a model that can actually gain a psychographic insights on what other audiences are really interested in. And then we try to sell it. And guess what? Hey, Somin, who are you? We don't know. You don't have any sales in our country. Why would I ever believe you? I have an agency, which is OMD, Omnicom Group, famous in the whole world. I have publicists. Why would I ever use your service, even you are represented by such a famous marketer who is no longer in that big agency? And it didn't work. Try to sell dashboard once, twice, 5 times, 20 times. It didn't work. And we now evaluate that during the first whole year of our research and development, we actually maybe were lucky to build 10 to 20% of some useful software. Other 80% of our pre-seed money that we raised too early, as I said in the previous lesson, we were wasted on building something that nobody needs. Yes, we did it. And everybody else did it in startup. Almost everyone doing this, do the same mistake. People keep doing this. Again, in some acceleration projects, the first thing they tell you is do not build things. Sell first, sell the concept, sell the slides, sell the prototype or design. Don't sell the working software because it's so expensive. You don't have money. You as a startup, not an enterprise, actually don't have any resource to build something before you selling it. You need to sell the idea, and it didn't work. Of course, it didn't work in our case. We only maybe built 10% of useful stuff. The rest was not useful. We have delayed our growth by about 1 year by not selling first, but building first. And why we did it? Because me and my CTO, we both technical co-founders. We're super excited by our tech. We so like to build machine learning models and scalable software. We forgot that you need to sell first and validate the idea before you are really doing all this traditional software development with all stuff of scrums and other things you like so used to do it if you're a technical founder. So what we did, we pivoted. And we was extremely likely to pivot in something that really works. So what we did, we said, okay, all these dashboards are such a difficult thing. Nobody wants to listen us, and we don't know how to sell it, and we are really, really serious situation. So, let's pivot and let's take these dashboards and just take the data from the dashboards. Go Facebook, plug this data into the ads manager, and see whether this information will work for us. Whether this kind of campaign, not like a strategic insight, but an actual advertisement campaign, will work for us or not. And we did, and it worked. It was 5 times better than the original campaign. People were and felt, okay, that's interesting. We try with another friendly client, not really clients, but more like a friends who have their businesses who don't mind to try this technology in their marketing. And it worked. So we actually pivoted And we pivoted in a pretty much random way, pretty much random direction. And because of that, we figure out that we actually built dashboards that allow us to target advertisement way more efficient as compared to what humans do. And then we start develop our product in that direction. But I struck it out, and I think this is a really bad idea to pivot when you didn't sell. Why? Because you spent so much effort. Because you didn't validate your idea, and you already want to pivot to something else. What is the chance that you will pivot to the right direction? You must be approaching it like a researcher. You must really think about doing experiments in a proper way. Every time you're testing something, like 500 startups will teach you this, for example. Take one variable, make the experiment, get the result, fail fast, go for another experiment. In that situation, you will be always incrementally moving to your success. But if you will be just random pivoting as we did, very unlikely you will be achieving success. But in our case, it worked. But I give you a disclaimer. Do not try it at home, okay? We were just lucky. Make your product development and everything you do in a company based on your business development and sales, because this is what's important in a business. In research, it's important to write papers. In programming, it's important to write code that, I don't know, bug-free, which is a bullshit, but at least with a good coverage and a good discipline. In business, sales is what is important and nothing else is important. Your technology, nobody care. Your face, nobody really care. Your team, nobody really care if you cannot sell what you build and if your market is not big enough. And this would be my key positive learning moment for you. If you keep this in mind, go ahead, try to use startups. We will always support you. And me personally, will be happy to answer any questions you have now for the 10 minutes that I have, or maybe after this presentation as well. So thanks so much. You can scan this QR code. I really encourage you. And you can read some case study that our platform did with WPP agency, and which was featured in Ad Index ranking list as one of the best cases. And this case was with Huawei, showing how our platform, by targeting something ridiculous but predicted by AI, actually can help a business to save hundreds of thousands of dollars per month. And this is something that we do, and that's something what we also wish you to achieve in your startup life. Yeah, thanks. Any questions?
Alex, thank you. It was very inspiring. We have several questions in the chat. Can you see them?
Yes, let me read. One moment. Okay. Alex, hey, great job on doing your project. Thanks, Alex. Please give me your opinion. What are the best place to get pre-seed in the USA? Alex, no response. I don't know what the stage your company in. I don't know what's your product. USA is a market that everybody really want to get in because it's so huge, so much money is there. The multiples of the startup are so much better as compared to what you can get in Russia from a local VC. So everybody want to go there. But you need to go there only when you are ready, because the costs of everything you'll be doing there are uncomparable. And if you don't have enough capital, enough knowledge, good enough product and scalable product and product that fits USA market, because there's a couple of Russian companies that cannot just work in USA. The whole business model doesn't fit USA and the market there. If all this is good, then I would recommend you to focus on the region of the USA where the HQs of all your clients are located. In my industry, it's a Boston area, it's a New York area. That's where all HQs of my digital advertising agencies are active, and that's where edtech platforms want to stay. Do I want to go Silicon Valley? No, of course I don't want. Oh, maybe I'll incorporate some office there just to look cool, but that's all. I'm going to stay the place where my client personas are sitting. And in my case, once we do a very active business development in the USA, that will be Boston or New York. In your case, I don't know, you didn't tell me what's your industry, but feel free to ask, I will give you my opinion. Then another question was, I have the artificial neural networks, which is able to predict a marriage duration. Okay, NN can say what you should do to make your marriage more long or more happy. It's my startup. Would like to know a prediction of duration of your marriage. Are you ready to pay for it? If no, why? You know what? I'll suggest this this service to my wife, I think, and see what she'll say about that. But I personally don't want to know the duration of my marriage. I'll be feel too scary to know that. It's something like prediction the length of life to me, you know. So I wouldn't probably. But I think that this kind of services are quite interesting to certain groups of people. There are services that help you to show you how you will look when you'll be old. Or, for example, there are some services that help you to predict your marital status. Like I myself wrote a model during my PhD that was famous across the whole globe, where we predicted that Donald Trump is tweeting like a single, and the New York Post, Daily Mail wrote about us. You can go Google Trump tweets like bachelor. You'll find about us, right? About ITMO University, where I'm professor, and all this information. The question is, what would be your business model? Because you are talking about B2C. B2C means you need shitloads of money on marketing to make sure that you reach enough people. Or you need some other channel where you reach all these people. For Facebook, there was university channel. For some other B2C businesses, it's pure marketing, their own funnel. Very few companies can just grow organically, and they have to be very, 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 demanded. Predicting somebody's marriage, to me, doesn't seem like a very scalable thing, because is for fun service. So unless you plug it in something much bigger, something like virtual AI family psychologist, the marketplace of something like that, that would be a fun service. And for fun service, which you used once or twice, it's very hard to retain low churn. It's very hard to have a high CLV, customer lifetime value. And if your CLV is not high, and if your churn is not high, you will not be able to raise good money. And if you will not be able to raise good money, you will not be able to market. And if you will not be able to market, you probably will not be able to do your business. So my suggestion is, think of what a bigger story your neural network could be. I give you one just out of my mind. I didn't read this question before. Think of more. Think how this could be integral part of a large enough market in the world, so that, let's say, many families want to use this, let's say, as a pre-scoring service to engage with, family psychologists, which is a really big market online, and maybe make it a sales platform. Maybe it's AI psychologist match. Maybe you can get revenue share from the psychology or make a marketplace of them. That is interesting, okay? So if I'm an investor, and if you pitch me the second story, I'll be interested, I'll listen to you. If you pitch me first story, probably I wouldn't have too much time to listen to what you want to do. But it's a great idea and great technology, okay? I really appreciate. I get second question from Alex. So how many CAS dev interviews have you done before the launching your product? Yeah, 0. That was my first mistake, I'll tell you. I mean, of course, I talked to a couple of people, but honestly speaking, your advisors who are experts, top experts in the industry, they cannot give you right advice what to do, because they are not deep into your product and your business development process. Every company is very, very unique, and they simply don't know all the details, and they won't be able to give you very good detailed advice. So don't listen to them, only aggregate their opinions, and then try to figure out what's your real way you want to do. Every customer could give you some opinions, but we were stupid enough to listen and directly implement what they tell you. What you really need to do, you need to talk to a lot of them. In B2B, tens of them. In B2C, hundreds of them, to get some opinion. And even if you build what all these people want, still, when you get the real customers who have to pay real money, immediately they become a very different personas. Because when you ask me, would you pay for that? I will give you one advice. if you tell me, hey, I charge you $500 first, and then tell me what you like and what you don't like, and I will be very different, Alex, okay? People are very, very different when they pay and when they don't pay. That's why in SOMIN, we don't run free pilots, for example. We can, but we don't. Why? Because people are very, very different when they pay and when they don't pay. So customer development risks are good, important, but not sufficient. Ideally, you sell for some small money and then see how people react and what they really want. That will work. Okay. I think our time is more or less over. It was really, really good to know all of you. You can actually write me a question to Sasha@somin.ai. I'm happy to respond, or you can just find me in LinkedIn, or you can just get to Ingria. And once you become, I don't know, member and follower of everything, then they will give you my contact, right? Only in that case. Or you can scan this QR code and read a little bit about that cool case we did with AdIndex. It will tell you a little bit more about how to sell some product to customers on the conferences, which we really want to do, which is a very good business channel for us. Other than that, thanks so much for your questions, and it was really nice to hear all of you. Have a very good evening.
Alex, thank you. It was really great, and good cases was really motivating. I think that we can proceed to next speaker. Right. So I invite Lyubov Fedorova, the CVO of Touch.
Hi there, let me just quickly turn on my presentation. Just 1 second. Yeah, can you see it?
Yes, all good.
First of all, I wanted to tell that it's going to be really difficult to present after Alex. It was a great speech full of useful insights, but with your support, I will try my best. Good day, colleagues. My name is Lyubov Fedorova. I'm a part of a Touch team, and today I would like to present you the company's success and fail stories. It's a pleasure to be a part of this event, and thank you to Oksana to inviting me. I'm going to structure my pitch with overview of the company, what we're doing, and also an industry overview, and then we're going to go to the most interesting part, which is a fail and success story. So let me introduce Touch. We are an electric vehicle charging company from Russia. We produce the range of charging services, and we are an original equipment manufacturer. We have a very wide portfolio of charging stations, AC and DC. As well, we developed proprietary software to manage stations remotely. You can monetize the charging services through the software and track the stats and analytics. As well, we developed an app for electric vehicle drivers. Through the app, a person can find the nearest station, can book a slot, and pay for the charger precisely. Besides, we offer a turnkey charging solution, which is a complex product. So we also provide installation, connection, support, and we're writing business strategies for the operators of charging services. Let me tell you a few words about myself. I came to the company a year and a half. I was initially in charge of the international expansion of the company, and then I'm now overlooking the growth of the company in general. And I'm very excited to be a part of the Touch team and the industry in general. So yeah, I hope it will bring us success. Anyway, let me give you a brief overview of the industry. So for you to understand the current situation in the electromobility in Russia, it's in the very early infancy. For the 2021, the amount of electric vehicle on the roads, it's only around 12,000 cars. which is really crazy comparing to the 40 million of the cars with internal combustion engine in Russia. I'm talking about. So the main leader of the electromobility is China, of course, with 3.6 million of electric vehicles, and they are giants in electrification of the transport industry. And in Europe, if we're talking, it's Norway, of course. But overall, the tendency is increasing the number of electric vehicles with every year, which is given a driver to create an adequate charging industry. When we're talking about automakers, we can see that the vast majority of them have already expanding their portfolio to electric vehicles, and some of them even stay to go 100% electric. So, for example, Jaguar in 2025 states to go 100% electric, which is super exciting. And a little bit about how the electric vehicle works. So if we compare it to the conventional car, it's not that we are just recharging the car when the trunk is empty. We need to plan the charging in advance. And traditionally, it's comfortable to do when you are parked either where you live or where you work or where you're just doing or running some errands. And that's creating for us a B2B segment, which is very wide as well. It might be, we are talking about developers and different enterprises which have just the parking spaces or complementary resources as the energy and that want to expand their services to provide charging services as well. So we are now skipping to the fun part, talking about the first failure that we luckily had the chance to turn into our success. This was the scaling of our production. Initially, we tested the market with the outsource of our production. We gave the assembly to a third-party manufacturing company, which in the beginning gave us a significant decrease in the production cost. But with the time, when the order size was growing and the outsourced production has led us to a disaster because there were constant delays and poor services and reliance to a third party that we were not able to be fully controlling the situation. So this was very critical to us because the market is in its formation and every client matters really, and this is our brand as an asset. Hence, we came to the decision that it's time to set up our own production. Yes, it is costly, but we can now take orders, but we now can take control over the orders. And when we decided to open up our production, we now have our separate division, an R&D and a production facility in St. Petersburg. And this decision has led us to scale our production and to give the opportunity to deliver the products in time and with the best quality. And moreover, we now have the ability to actually take the orders for outsource the electric orders. So moving to the success and failure case number 2. So I might say it's not necessarily a failure, but rather a serious challenge for the company and the whole industry itself. As can you imagine the level of EV penetration in the country with only 12,000 cars? It's quite difficult to push things further when there is no formed market. And we came up with the idea to unite with alternative energy sector and form the ecosystem of energy effective products. By doing that, we achieved a new level of synergy. And since then, we have a complex energy efficient products in our portfolio. So we are talking about integration charging stations to the solar panels and the batteries. as well as power management through dynamic power distribution in real time. And this solution enables to not only have available charge infrastructure in the places when it was not possible before, but also comes up with a beneficial environmental effect, contributing to the significant reduction of CO2 emissions. So on this slide, you can see the numbers which the solar carport prevents during its life cycle, that is 10 years. Which is pretty good. And so I'm almost finished with my presentation. And here I wanted to highlight that the investment in the infrastructure, in the charging infrastructure, are quite risky. And it still doesn't generate a big profit at this moment. So we were coming up with the ideas, how could we create an additional value to the charging activity? So on the bright side, it gives a range of supplementary opportunities, like additional services around the car and the driver. I'm talking about insurance and technical services and loyalty programs, selling carbon quotas. And it's a big hype now around the SG politics here. So we're trying to target these companies that are precisely very involved into reducing their carbon emissions. So I think I covered the main points. To finalize my pitch, I would like to tell you to never give up. And even if it's very difficult, there's always a way. You just need to slightly alter the perspective, and there's always a light in the tunnel. Thank you for your attention, and I'm ready to answer all your questions if you have some.
Thank you, Lyubov. There is one question in the chat. If you can see it, I can read it for you.
Yeah, I'm reading it right now. So it seems like there's no demand for your product in the Russian market. Are you planning to go abroad? Actually, we already made an effort to go abroad. Yeah, we opened our branch in Germany in 2020. Yeah, so you are quite right that the product that we are currently offering is more actual for example, European region. Yeah, and we are actively going there. And we are also about to open up our second production site there as well to be able to cover any sales. Well, we actually have few partnerships closed. The thing is that we produce the charging equipment in Russia, and they have the certification, and we are now in the middle of receiving the European certification, which is super strict, and it's not exactly the same documentation that is applicable here in Russia. Yeah, never give up. Thank you.
Is there any other questions? Okay, so if there is no question, thank you, Lyubov. It was great presentation, and I think it's turn for Alexei. Alexei, are you here?
I think yes.
Alexei, thank you so much for participation. And as I know, you have a birthday today. So happy birthday. And it's such an amazing thing that you actually are here on your birthday. I hope you're going to have a good time. And so you have about 20 minutes. The floor is yours. Please, welcome.
Okay. Previously, Lyubov was afraid to speak after Alex, and I think I can continue this tradition and say that my current speech will be much more rude and unprofessional. Okay, let me share my screen. Okay, I didn't do a special presentation for my mistakes, but I think my project and my experiences is one of best suitable products and behavior for this meeting. So first of all, I'm founder and CEO of CodeCruiser platform. You can save us as software that creates software. First of all, we are related to low-code and code generation PaaS platforms, which helps to create business automation output of any complexity, like ERP, CMS, DMS, and other data-related systems. Here is the, hold a second. Here is the very short set of features. First of all, this low-code market is one of the most growing markets in the world in IT, because it's growing 50% each year. It's related to Western and Eastern markets both. Our platform is a new generation of PaaS platforms because it combines not only low-code functionalities, but also code generation. So in other words, we give you the full freedom and system development. From other side, we have fully functional, the visual environment to quickly write your objects and data, and after that we can generate for you the full source code in all aspects. So beginning from the backend, middle tier, and front end. And we have not only one front end. For example, we currently have 3, and the list is growing. Our platform will be useful for if there are students here or maybe startups. You please pay attention to our platform, because with help of this our platform, you can build your products from 5 to 20 times faster. The next big feature, for example, for students, is that we can make from junior developer full stack, and you can continue learning in parallel with working and getting money for your activity. Here, this is very simple view of our configuration tool, and this is its front end generated for one of US companies in using the .NET framework. And this is the web sample of web output generated without any line of code, also for one of our customers in Russia. And also web is can work and can be shown on all platforms like data, like tablets, mobile devices, and computers. So we currently use these problems for business automation. So a lot of manual processing, hard access to data, and a lot of disconnected systems. And our platform is solution. We are stay in the middle. So if, for example, just imagine from one side, there are code required tools like Visual Studio and Eclipse, and from other side, there are no code platforms which can solve some set of, which can quickly and effectively solve some set of tasks, but they have a lot of limitations. Our way is just to be a golden mean in the middle, and we are planned to combine. Try to combine the features of code required and no code access tools. Here you can see the set of frameworks, technologies, languages used in our platform, and the list is growing. It is our team. I'll not stay here a lot, and we have tons of currently working projects in different areas. For example, in medicine, banking, construction, education, and retail in Russia and United States at the moment. So this list of benefits for business, for example, it's increasing team productivity, increase the quality, and speed up the development. So saving time and money. And tons benefits for programmers. I'll not stay here at the moment because we are focused on mistakes and fuck-ups. Let's go. I think I'll focus mostly on the technical side. As the owner, I think I had all kinds of errors. I make all kinds of errors the new startup can make, because initially I collected some amount of money. I created a team. I just imagined idea and I just started working. So I didn't do any marketing investigation. I thought that if idea is great, if team is strong, and if I have a lot of money, I think everything is very shiny and the result will be awesome. But I think I just started to think that something wrong after the money ended, and I didn't have any clients. So I just working exactly working based on client requests. So I think the first my submission for guys new in this way. So just pay as much as you can in the beginning of your way, because architecture issues is the main maximum is the most expensive one. So please don't think you imagine everything about the product you develop. Please ask your friends, ask your potential customers which features they want to have, and just not to have, but to buy. To have and to buy is different, very different things, and difference in terms of development, difference can be measured in years. Okay, next thing is just also related to technical part. It can be named "Don't make checkpoints." Just imagine you have a very important feature and you think this feature is brilliant and the customers also want this feature, but you didn't separate these tasks. This task is very big, and you didn't separate this task to smallest one, and you just planned that for example, this feature implementation will require two persons and during 1 month. But for example, what if you spent 6 months for this feature? Will it be useful at the moment? Will it be necessary for clients? Will it be good for your credit card also? So please make sure that you plan correctly and do checkpoints and provide the complete review with looking backward and the check if this feature should be implemented later, or maybe you should continue or maybe cut some functionality. It's very strange point. This point is very strange because I always thought that if we are working on very interesting and very scientific based product, so we are all stars here, and the freedom for talent is the most effective way to expand its abilities. Unfortunately, I was wrong, because talent is also should be placed in some restrictions to be realized in 100%. For example, one of issues. For example, I thought that I should communicate with every person in my team to have its opinion on some problem or task. I spent a lot of hours, a lot of unnecessary speeches, and we spent a lot of time to trying to determine and to find the common way, the most effective way. when you have dedicate the active and the control role for some activity to a specific person. For example, you have analytic in your team, you have technical person in your team, and each is responsible for its own area. It should be best way, because please give him the ability to expand his talent in this area, and you save, and the development time of your feature will be approximately 3 times shorter. Next step is a lot of theory in the product. As my higher education is physicist, theoretician, and theoretic, maybe, I don't know how it's exactly known. And a lot of, I like a lot of flying in the sky. And I think that earlier I thought that almost 100% of tasks can be solved sitting in your chair. But if you develop the product you want to get money from, you need to communicate with exact customers of your product. So if customers said that it likes this product, it doesn't mean it will buy it. And also, you please don't limit the quantity of your clients to communicate with. It's a very important thing, but because I spent a lot of time just trying to show the features of my product to exact customers after the product was completely developed. And at the moment, I still continue fixing issues in programming, which can be fixed in analytical phase. Another feature, another my mistake is that I, as owner, as father of this project, I always afraid to cut some functionality, even if not necessary by clients. So I spent, for example, work for 2 persons during 1 year in development of some functionality, but at the moment I didn't sell anybody this module yet. But I sell another module to 200 customers. Even I didn't think this module will be popular. So don't afraid to focus on the functionality which have good customer feedback. And don't afraid to cut some functionality because it eats some resources and time. I think it's everything. It's all. I hope my speech, my submission will be useful for somebody, and I'm ready to answer questions. Thanks, everybody.
Alexey, we have 2 questions in the chat. Can you see them?
Yeah. No. It was a joke. I thought that if you want to the title was is best way to waste your time and money. And if you want to do this, yes, avoid of marketing research, of course. Have you raised any funds, any advices? At the moment, I didn't raise any funds, so my project is self-funded, and maybe it will be not necessary because after speaking with some investors, I found that, at least in Russia, I found that most of them are related. I want just don't want to play with this product. They just want to get more money than they gave to me. And currently, I focus it on partnership, and I have a big advantage in this. So I don't think the investment is the completely necessary step for startup. It's all, I think.
Alexey, thank you so much for participation. It was a great presentation and great speech. I wish you good luck on development of your project, and I personally believe in it. So have a nice weekend all, and thank you for your attention. I think that we are ready to finish this event. Thank you.